Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to round 5 of the season here with Invictus Racing League for Tier 2 around the Spielberg Mountain Circuit of the Red Bull Ring in Austria. I'm Jack TM53, your commentator on tonight's proceedings, and as always, joining me today, and delighted to have you here as always, it's Xerox. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully we have the microphone issue figured out. I'm trying to hear myself back in the stream to make sure. But I changed my headsets. The headset I usually use for my computer, I swapped over for party, so I won't be able to hear any audio. But I can hear myself through the other headset, so we are good.
Yeah, I've just played it back through my own tablet as well, so it all sounds good, nice and clear. But this is a track that it's not, in terms of the whole calendar, Austria is arguably the simplest track, isn't it, Xerox? 10 corners, 4.318 kilometres, so not very long at all. But as we saw last night in Tier 3, lots of chaos can happen around here, depending on weather, depending on strategy, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a very high-paced track. I can hear myself in your headset again. I don't know if the stream can hear it. But, yeah, you definitely have to play into your setup and your strategy because of how quickly the Tier 3 drivers yesterday, myself and Jack included, how quickly the rain can come and the rain can go because there wasn't really maybe a lap and a half, 2 laps of standing water where it got dry again.
Yeah, it did do that. You're very right on that. It did cause a. The weather conditions for Tier 3 were very variable yesterday. I've just played the feedback through, and even though you can hear yourself, Xerox, the stream isn't picking it up. So all is good on that front. But I'm expecting less safety cars than yesterday, because there was 5 in Tier 3, and I think we had something ridiculous like 10 or 11 drivers, less than 10 drivers, finish the race on circuit with massive accidents at the end, which wiped out 2 of what was the 2 podium runners at that point. But what do you think today for yourself, Xerox, in terms of a prediction? If we're looking at I know you're going to go through the drivers' standings in a moment, and I'll let you bring all that up for your info. But what do you think? What's your podium prediction today? You always like to get your thoughts.
I always like to look at qualifying.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a track like this. I know it's different than last week with Silverstone because it's all high speed, but we have some pretty rough corners. The double left-handers, I believe, turns 7 and 6.
6 and 7, you're right, yeah.
6 and 7. Yeah, but our front runners right now, Lucas Blaha, Ivan, JP9 pushing himself up there. We have people, Atsu in the chat going for Ricky Maru. So there's definitely a handful of people that, with the way they're running in the season, that they're going to be fighting for that top spot on the podium. But how many people can actually stay on the podium and not make mistakes, we won't know until we start the race.
No, we won't. It's very true. And last week, because I'll let you go through the driver stands in a minute, Xerox, but last week we obviously, we gave a nickname to Ronanosaurus, known as the Tyre Whisperer, because of what he did with the mediums. But as it turned out, Ronan had a penalty from the race previously, which got applied to Silverstone. So despite all of his amazing work, he ended up not winning the race as a result. And you had Kerr taking his first victory as a result of post-race penalties applied. Second ended up being Ivan, and despite having a puncture 4 corners away from the end, Ads Lucas, as a result of Ronan's penalty, got promoted into third, so he got his first podium in Invictus Racing League. So it's still kicked off even after the race had ended at Silverstone, and we're here in Austria with almost at the halfway point of the season. But next week, because obviously it's Easter holidays next week, Easter Sunday, Easter Monday, etc. Here in the UK, there won't be
you guys are doing daylight savings.
Yeah, daylight savings as well. So with all that going on, there won't be any racing next week. But we are about to start. And Xerox, have you got those championship standings?
So we got Lucas Blaha. There's a revision in the points. If you guys are in the Discord, I don't know if you guys are able to view them. Lucas Blaha with 53 points. Ivan Belov with 44. JP9 with 38. Close behind is Ricky Mara with 36. That's our top four. Aston Martin and Ferrari are fighting for the top spot for constructors, separating themselves by 1 point. Mercedes in top three with 56 points, and Haas close behind at 48. And if you guys didn't notice in the stream, we have a full grid today. I don't know if this was the first grid so far this season.
I'm just thinking back to round one, whether there's been a full grid. I'm not 100% certain. Off the top of my head, I want to say no. I know that tier 3 did, but I'm not 100% entirely certain on tier 2.
I don't. Did we have a full grid?
I feel like we've had some pretty maxed out grids, but whether we've missed maybe one or two drivers, I'm not sure. But tonight we do have that full grid. And again, one of the things in the characteristics of this circuit is that DRS train is a huge element around this circuit. I am expecting to have and see drivers forming DRS trains. We have got a bit of, I'd say almost, overcast, maybe even a little bit of heavy cloud weather going on here. So whether we'll get any rain in the qualifying session, we don't know. But obviously, if you're new to Invictus Racing League, we've got a short qualifying, so it's 18 minutes for the drivers to go out there, set a lap time, and they'll have a couple of sets of Pirelli compound tyres to use, red or yellow soft and medium shod tyres. Then the race is 50%, so that it's a 36 lap race around this 4.3 kilometre circuit. And I can see a Haas and an Aston Martin coming out of the pits.
Yeah, I just saw Ricky Maru, the fan in question from the chat from Atsu. And that's the Aston Martin of, was it Lucas Blaha or is that Coke?
It's Coke, yeah. Just on board with Coke at the minute.
And dry enough weather for soft tires. Some people still in the pits with Sabinians, Ivan and LDR, but they're probably just going to wait and see what the weather's like.
There's a lot of people coming out of the pits already, and I wonder if there might be a little bit of a spot of rain on the way out during this session.
Slick tire runs before the rain comes in. Yeah, Lucas Blaha taking inters, possibly. He's not out yet. He's still in the pits, but some people are probably just going to wait till intermediates. I don't see any of those intermediate runners coming out if they do.
No, I haven't seen anything in particular. They're not out on circuit. I wonder if that's just they're flicking through the tyre compounds. But I'm on board with Coke, who will be the first driver to set a flying lap. And Xerox, I always let you do the track lap guide. He's coming to turn 9. He's about to start his lap, but no rain yet. So take it away.
So that right-hander there with this DRS line, very tricky. If you're going too strong, you're going to lose out on your track time and invalidate your lap time. The braking point here for turn 1, maybe a 150 meter marker around in there. Maybe drop 3-4 gears and then put the power down. And as soon as you come up to the curb, you don't want to take too much curb or you will overcorrect and you will spin out. 100 meter marker, maybe a little bit less there on turn 3 as we're coming over the crest. DRS line there. The focal point, I believe, is just before you hit that right-hander. But, yeah, so about 60 meter marker. A lot of curve there from Coke as he's trying to take advantage of that slick tire before the rain comes in. And here's that double left-hander you're talking about. You do not want to take that turn 6 curb because you will spin and lose the back end. And then this right-hander, take as much curve as you can here to turn number 9 and 10, about a 50 meter marker. I usually drop about 2 gears through there, and then coming back through your DRS line and across the line. 104 from Coke to start our pace.
Pretty much on the pace already of the tier 3 qualifying pole lap, which was a 1:04.6 as well. So Coke right up there. Mr. Steen gets across the line. What about his teammate? JP9, that's a 1:04.6 as well. So the top 3 separated by a 10. Yeah, right in the mix. The 3 Mercedes engine cars separated by a 10th of a second from first to third. Kez is in there. And then adds Lucas, fresh from his first podium last week. He goes provisionally P1.
Pole.
Yeah.
And Lucas Blaha taking a gamble here and running those inters. They're coming down through Sector 1, start of Sector 2, with the Mercedes coming behind on a cooldown lap.
There has to be a reason for Lucas doing this. There wouldn't, unless there's some sort of strategic gain he gets from doing this. I don't know why Lucas would go out there.
Well, you heat the tires on the inters a lot more easily with the tread, and the wear goes down a lot faster when they're overheating. So we'll see what kind of interval he's at with these intermediate tires, or if he's running a second hot lap.
Clips Kiri goes up to P1, and that's Lucas going predictably down the bottom end of those that have set time so far.
I've been setting a 105 on the mediums, probably getting rid of the mediums for the race, expecting rain. Lucas Blaha about 4 seconds off the pace with those intermediate tires as he's coming in. I don't feel like he's running fast enough for another hot lap. But we'll have to wait and see if his time improves or if he comes in. Toast and Joe coming through. Yeah, Joe setting P9 for a 105.
And Toast!
Toast! 104 flat, just above a 104 flat.
That is an impressive lap time. First opening gambit from Mr. Burnt Toast himself, and he's half a second up on the field. I mean, this is only the first lap, but that is impressive. I was looking to see who else was on a lap. I know Ronan is. He's just going through the left-hander at turn 6, right on board of him. Down through the gears into 5th for him. A little bit wide on the apex of 7. Clips through 8, not really a problem in the dry weather conditions. And these last 2 corners here at Spielberg, still part of the old Österreichring circuit back in the 70s. This was completely committed through there, and it looks like it's going to be a slow lap. Yeah, it's a 163. Yeah, he's a bit off the pace there.
Ruddo and the Ferrari is up next for their hot lap, and I believe, Aston Martin maybe, no.
Just looking, I think one of the Alfa Romeos is coming into the pits. Yeah, it is. I'm just looking to see. I think Ruddo is the only driver on a proper flying lap at the moment outside of the top 10. And we're on board with him. But everyone seems to be struggling with turn 6 I've rode on board with. They just can't seem to, rather turn 7, they're just not hitting the apex really.
Yeah, turn 7 and turn 6, you lose a lot of time there. Oh, I don't know if Ruddo's having connection issues or not. Jerking left and right there as he's coming across the line for P9, 104.8. And Toast may be able to sit there comfortably for pole position, unless we get to our other runs and see how close people can get.
What I will say, I mean, after these opening laps, I know that Jiri is on a lap, so we'll just follow him as we talk. But if you take Toast out of the equation, from 2nd down to what I would say is 13th, the gap is 6/10. But from 2nd to, what is that? I'm just looking to 10th. It's 3/10 of a second. That's how tight it is around this circuit.
And we knew that race 1 after qualifying that Tier 2, with how many drivers we have and how full of a grid we have, like 20 drivers for this grid, and we had like, what, 3 or 4 reserve drivers wanting to race last week in Tier 2?
Yeah, we did have quite a lot, so it's just showing you how popular Invictus Racing League is, and that is Jiri up into 2nd place, but
closing
still,
the gap to 4/10.
Yeah, it's still a big gap for a circuit like this. It's a small circuit, 64 seconds a lap time around here, and Toast in his Alpha has found 4.5 tenths. I mean, that is impressive.
Mr. Steen on a hot lap, I believe, coming around through turn 10.
Let's have a look at him.
For an improvement. 7/10 off the pace.
3/10 off the pace.
Down to 3/10 now. Found 4/10 there, just under a half a second there for the Mercedes.
I quite like how, I know to come off topic slightly, but I like how Mr. Steen's helmet really contrasts with the black Mercedes. You can really spot him. I know it's something that real life Formula 1 do talk about, in terms of helmet designs, but that really does pop against the black. I think it's quite a nice helmet design.
It shows 2 different shades of the same color, so it slightly stands out.
Here comes Alex. He's in the Williams. His teammate Edmund hasn't done a representative lap time. He's one of a few drivers yet to do a competitive lap, and I fear he might get track limits for that. He doesn't. He gets away with it, and he's on the second row of the grid, P3.
All right. Solid blue with a yellow highlight and some red there on the front of his helmet. That's one thing I wish we had more. What is it? Creativity for is the helmets.
Yeah,
But
helmet designs.
Mr. Steen coming into the pits here, trying to find somebody else on a hot lap. I believe Aston Martin of Coke is on an out lap. And then teammate in the other Aston Martin, Luke Splaha, behind.
Kent is on a lap, though. And I think Lucas is also on a lap. So, as you were right there, Xerox. Lucas is just coming around this final corner, absolutely committed at turn 10. And this is going to put him P5.
4/10, 3 people, 4/10 off the pace. Alex, Jerry, Lucas. And then
Kent.
I believe that's going to be a Williams coming up next.
Looks
Williams
like it.
of Alex? No, that's going to be coming into the pits.
Is it
McLaren.
Edmund? No, he's a bit further back. So I think
McLaren of Kent coming through turn 9.
Take us through it.
Final corner and see what kind of pace they have. P7, 104.5. Not much of an improvement, but there still is there. Ferrari coming across the line, start their hot lap.
That's a bit more like it from Edmund up to
Ivan.
P10. I think Ivan's backed out of it.
Yeah, Ivan's backed out of it. Ruddo is almost coming in contact with his teammate. Using a little bit of toe there for their run. There's Ivan's coming up to the hairpin. Very tricky. You don't want to be in the middle of the turn when somebody on a hot lap is coming up on you.
No. I'll tell you one thing,
Ruddo.
while we were talking, I know we're on board with Ruddo at the moment, but Coke is up to second, and that gap has come down big style. Coke is only...
second.
Yeah, you're spot on. Look at that gap. It's come right down.
Ruddo
Ooh.
taking a little bit of a loose end there from Ruddo. Taking a little bit of that curb there on turn 6. What we were talking about earlier. And then you can take as much curb there, turn 7 and 8. But it's very tricky. Oh, he's speeding into the pit. I don't know what's going on. Ruddo.
He was down on his lap, but I mean that's one thing that you pointed out rightfully, Xerox, is that you can't take any curb at turn 6. It just upsets the balance of the car. So Ruddo had that little slide through the corner. He just lost quite a lot of time. Got a bit of a traffic jam at the final corner, but we're getting on with it. I think Bontobi's going to go for a lap. So
Joe came through turn 6 pretty well. Coming in behind the Aston Martin, I believe he's going to be coming in
to the pits.
To the pits, yes.
So Bontobi into turn 1.
And LDR Gamers still have yet to set their lap times. No runs, so those intermediate runners maybe breaking the tires in for the race, maybe.
I mean, it'd be an impressive gamble, but if I'm right in saying that for normal races, the Pirelli allocation, they should get 3 sets of intermediates for the race. So
yeah,
not really sure. Maybe it's a strategic element. Maybe they're looking to try and gain some lap time somewhere from it. Maybe a bit of confidence and see how the car's behaving. That's the only thing that I can assume at the moment.
Taking a little bit of curve there through turn 6 and running pretty well. Trying not to invalidate. Pretty close there on the exit of turn 7. Gonna be 2 cars on the inside to watch out for as he's coming through the apex, and see where he sets up for a lot of curb. They're on turn 10. Bontobi coming across the line, only good enough for P14 at 104.6.
Yeah, 104.6. And that is Edmund as well, who's just gone up to 4th whilst we were watching Bontobi. So good effort for the Williams drivers. And I did also... Ooh, where was JP? That's a bit of lag from JP, I think that was. You were right, Xerox, before. It looked like he was having some issues. Kerr, last week's race winner, coming around the last 2 corners, number 73, 1 win under his belt this season. Can he make any improvements? He's 8/10 off the pace currently. That's a bit more like it, a 1 minute 4.4, and he's in the top 5.
3rd row there, right next to Alex, provisional right now. The other teammate, Eclipse Gary, still in the pits. Ivan Bilab, I don't know if they're on a cool down or a hot lap. I believe they're coming in by where they're at.
4 and a bit minutes to go. Toast is on a lap. So let's see how he approaches this one. He's just coming into turn number 4 currently, using a lower gear than other people I've noticed, but preferring to have a little bit more power out of the corner, I would assume. Oh, he's run wide, and that'll be... Yeah, he ran too wide, and round he goes. Nice 360, but he'll have time to get back in the pits and put a new set of Pirelli on.
Bumping up there to P5. I believe that's 2 positions.
Oh, good effort for Lucas. Championship leader.
Starting their run.
Is that Ricky, I'd assume? Yeah, it is indeed. So here he comes then. Ricky down through the gears. Deciding to change it up a little bit. And then puts the power down as best as he can. And then he's going to go down through the gears again.
I just noticed JP9 is here in the commentary box with us.
And he's now left.
I don't know if he meant to do that or not while he's in the pits. But
I don't think he did. I think that was an accident. Ricky had a massive wobble out of turn 4 whilst we were both a bit bewildered by why JP joined us briefly.
Seems like LDR Gamer's PlayStation just turned off. Maybe... Isn't there like a safety feature, like overheating feature for the PlayStation?
Yeah, it might be. I know that he had trouble with that, didn't he, last week? But at least he has one effort to get a lap time in. He starts that lap now. The only other driver on a lap, I think, is Kent. But
turn 7.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
See what the McLaren is capable of. Got two.
They just started their hot lap as well.
Taking
as much of that inside curve on turn 10. You can invalidate your lap time there on turn 10, and no improvement from Kent.
Kent's going again. Yeah, I've just watched. Yeah, he's going to go for a second lap. He didn't use any battery on the previous one, so he must have backed out of it. So let's hope for Kent that strategy plays out for him. LDR Gamer, the only man yet to set a lap time. He's on a 45 flat in the second sector, so that's not too bad. It's in the ballpark for an improvement from the AlphaTauri. Blasts towards turn 9, 7th gear using all the curb, down through another couple of gears at the final corner, uses a little bit of AstroTurf. This is a decent effort, and it's a 1:04.4. Good effort from him with the one lap.
Yeah, most of our top 10 now half a second, 11, 12, 13, 14. Majority of the grid actually, the top 15, 104.0 to 104.59, so about 6/10.
Yeah, just looking, there was an improvement in the standings then, but I didn't quite catch who it was who moved around. Ivan Belov is going to be one of the first championship protagonists to set a lap time. He is improving by about 1/10.5, which would get him incredibly up to 5th place if he can manage that. One final corner to go. He's going to get a nice little helpful toe from someone in front of him. And he doesn't.
To the runoff area for qualifying. I believe I ended up doing that yesterday too. Ricky Maru retiring early, comfortable with where they're at. And there was no improvement from Ken. I stayed on board with him.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. So what happened to JP was that he needed an invite. Apologies to those who just saw that flash up on my screen. And that is Joe putting an effort in for a 1:04.3. He was briefly last. 7/10 covers the whole field. We're going to have a flurry of lap times coming in now from other drivers. Edmund has bounced back. He's in 5th place and he's got a lap to go. And everybody else is just going to be coming around the final corner to complete their laps. Who's the next car coming? Looks like an Alpine. Is that Jiri? No, it's got to be his teammate, Ads Lucas. And he goes to 11th.
Pushing Clips Carry to P12. We're on board with him now. Coming through turn 7.
Yeah,
Ferrari ahead of him, I believe, of... I can never find the Ferrari.
Alex is up. Alex up to P3.
And Clips Carry solidifies P12 there. Ricky Maru down to P13.
He went quicker, you know. He went quicker and did a 1:04 flat, but invalidated his lap time. Bon Toby up to 4th.
Joe Hamster sitting there in P5 is comfortable Mr. Steen P6, Edmund Cerny P7.
Toast goes
Edmund
into the
coming
1 minute
across the line.
freeze.
Edmund Cerny bumping up to P5. The two Williams looking very confident so far this week.
Lucas up as well. Jiri is the last driver to set a lap time, and he goes into 9th position. But Toast, the first time I've seen a driver into the 1 minute freeze here in Austria. That is mighty from the Alfa Romeo. And just for the record, for those that are wondering, the difference between Tier 2 and Tier 3 drivers, if they put the pole position time from Tier 3 yesterday into this field, it would get you 18th. That just shows you the competitiveness of this lobby. So there we have the positions then from qualifying. Toast looked quick all day, and he has got pole. He's got Coke alongside him. Other beverages are available, of course. Alex and Bontobi are on the second row with Lucas and Edmund sharing row 3.
Better take a screenshot of that.
Edmund will have a 5-second penalty, so he'll drop to 11th. Joe will start 6th then. Mr. Steen will be 7th with Jiri and LDR Gamer and Kerr rounding out the top 10. Then it'll be Edmund, Ads Lucas, Clips Kiri, Ricky Maru, Ivan Beloff, Ronan, Kent, Keza, JP9 and Ruddo round out the top 20, and all drivers, and 3/4 of a second separates the entire field. And I hope for Joel he got that invite.
He did, but that's not going to matter. The grid is set, and we're going to have to reset the lobby according to our race admin.
Oh, right.
LDR Gamer had disconnected. You'll maintain your start position, so that's why I said take a screenshot. Hopefully someone did. Plus, you also gave the names out, so we'll have the order via audio as we have everyone leaving and waiting for more invites. So a little bit longer to wait to start, and that may change up the weather situation too, because those drivers are going to have to use the same setups. They cannot change their setups.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. For the drivers, we'll have to back out of it then and wait whilst we get the lobby corrections sorted. Fingers crossed.
In the chat complaining about his man flu.
It's no such thing.
Cause an effect on his lap time, slow lap time due to his flu. Trying to find the words. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. Well, yeah, very close grid, and hoping that they have a lot better racing than yesterday.
I thought yesterday's racing was fantastic, just smattered with a few
yesterday's-
incidents.
Yeah, we were running good because the safety cars we had were late safety cars, especially if there's going to be weather playing into a factor today. And kind of interesting to see what the other tiers would, how they would react to it as well. But we'll have to wait and see.
Loads of comments that have been coming in from everybody. Good to see you all, including Lee, Matty Rudd, Renz, Keza, obviously doing two jobs at once, being a commenter and a race driver. Good to see you, Kelvin, as well. And obviously Joel is now back in, so everyone will have, of course, Atsu as well, making those first comments. So we've got quite a few people watching. If you are watching and you're new to Invictus Racing League, great to have you with us. Do give a like on the stream. It does mean a great deal for visibility, especially with the YouTube algorithms. If you could give the stream a like, that'd be wonderful. And also a big thank you as well to our partners Venturi Studios for creating those amazing graphics that you see on the thumbnails, all around the Discord as well for Invictus Racing League. It's great to have them on board with us. So do check them out. You can go and check out their website, or if you want any advice or any comments or guidance, just get in touch with one of our team here in IRL and we will get you in position for maybe some tasty graphics for whatever you want to create and utilise. But qualifying was excellent, wasn't it, Xerox? Yeah.
That was. And the double attempt for a qualifying run, very risky because that first lap, you're trying to get into the wear and tear on the tires and save your battery. Like, I tried to run yesterday like that, but I was about 7/10 off pace without using the battery. So we'll have to see how that plays into the race with battery conservation. And like you said earlier, the DRS train, if you are in it, that is great. It helps you a lot. But if you lose that 1 second gap, then you're going to have a tough time and you're going to have to rely on your single run pace.
Yeah, that's vital information for the drivers. We have got some invites, so we can jump into the new lobby, which is good news. Joe has put a picture of his setup in the Tier 2 drivers room, and it looks like he's playing on what looks to be a postage stamp at this point. We're going to call him the Royal Mail at this present time, because that is unbelievably tiny, that screen. Good to see you, Blackside, in the chat as well. It's good to have you here with us. Joe saying he needs a pair of binoculars. Well, maybe we'll call him Bill Oddie instead.
He's gonna need one of those Google glasses that'll auto zoom in for him, watching the screen, or have the screen right there on his glasses, wear a VR headset for the league. There you go.
But it's going to be a clear race, according to Joe, in terms of how the weather had already been identified in the race. If you were to go into qualifying, for those that don't know, if you go into qualifying, you can see the race approximate weather. And it looked like it was clear. So we're going to have a clear race, so no issues with weather like we had in Tier 3. And it'll all come down to driving ability and keeping it out of the wall. Xerox, what do you think of the most challenging corners? I mean, admittedly, only 10 to pick from, and 2 of those aren't really corners either. So what are the most challenging corners on this circuit?
I'd have to say turn 3 and turn 10, because those corners, turn 3 more especially because of the curb, turn 10 more specifically because of the rate of speed. Turn 3, if you're not low enough down into the gears, you're losing speed, you take too much curb, you come off the track, you lose a lot of time, and there is the possibility of spitting out. Turn 10, 9 and 10 consecutively, mainly into turn 10, the runoff there, the curve that you take before the DRS line. If you put too much power down and don't drop enough gears coming through that last turn, you will force yourself off track and you will invalidate your lap time. And I don't know if we actually caught that in today's qualifying. I'm going to need an invite, sir. But it's definitely going to be interesting for track limits.
There you go, sir. That's sent over to you. But track limits is going to be key. I mean, this is a big point around here. The driving standards yesterday in Tier 3 for track limits weren't that bad. It wasn't that many drivers who did pick up time penalties. But in Tier 2, that's with the grid being so close, it's going to be even more prevalent and more prominent if a driver gets a time penalty. If they get stuck in a DRS train, they could very easily drop from maybe running at the front of the field down to 10th at the end of the race just because of a 3-second time penalty. It could be that close if we're basing it off of qualifying. Do you think after qualifying though, Xerox, Toast right up there, Joe up there, a couple of other drivers, who's your predictions on this time? Now that you've got a bit of info under your belt, what do you think?
The running order, definitely. If we're not running into weather issues, we may see not really many changes depending on how people drive on this track, especially because each person has better runs on races compared to qualifying on certain tracks. Like yesterday, you ran like you usually do. I ran a little bit better. Some people ran a little bit worse. And we definitely see that today, especially if you invalidated your lap time. And I wanted to backtrack a little bit on your lap time stuff with the DRS train. If you're in the DRS train, you keep with the drivers, but you're in that dirty air, and that's less of a chance for you to actually stay on the track, and it's more likely of a chance to invalidate your lap time, get that dirty air. Like, there were situations where the back end for me was coming out early, or I had to brake early because my front tires weren't hot enough to actually catch and turn, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of that today.
Well, we will. We've got all 20 drivers in the lobby now, which is fabulous news. Just have a quick look on the select team and driver. Yeah, every single one is there. Sometimes that timing, that little tower at the top can glitch out sometimes. It can cause a few problems, but fortunately it hasn't. So the driver, in terms of the admin here for LDR Gamer, he will now be setting the grid based off of qualifying. So we will get all that set up and we will go straight into the race following a formation lap, which should be, I mean, one thing that's really good about the formation lap in this game is that you can park in the grid box. It's something that had been quite a frustration for a number of years in former Codemasters F1 games, but has been a recent addition. But one thing that is quite frustrating about it is that no matter how much you warm the tyres up or, you know, maybe lock a brake or something like that, it doesn't actually affect how the tyres start. Doesn't make any impact on it, which is a bit of a frustration. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, for F1 24, and it'll be the, well, effectively third year of under EA stewardship, despite being developed by Codemasters, that we'll get a few more features like that in there, because I feel like it's just a little bit of an oversight.
Yeah, we're getting a little off track for this year's game, but I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of stuff that they add or change to driver career mode. Especially if they fix their red flags, fix the formation laps, especially for multiplayer, and then like you were saying, the tire stuff, and then kind of excited to see what else they would bring. If not, then oh well, just another game. We're gonna be there for next season on F124 later in the winter, but we're still trying to officialize. I don't know what we're doing. We're waiting on admins trying to figure out qualifying. I did notice Rutto in the chat in the driver's room saying, "Excuse my jet lag, staying away from you because of their connection." But yeah, still the top runners: Ronan, Ivan, Clips, Kiri, Lucas, all those guys. It's gonna be a very interesting race, especially for JP9. I don't know who it was previously, but they're practically doing a last to first challenge because they're not where they want to be. They're not where they're supposed to be for qualifying because they disconnected. But excited to see what JP9 can do coming through the grid.
Yeah, that's going to be, there'll be a few plot lines going around tonight. We shall see how the drivers can get on with this, because this is a big element. You know, the drivers who have even qualified down in the lower reaches, don't forget they are only 7.25 tenths away, or 7.5 tenths away from pole position. That's what the whole grid was separated by. So for those drivers, do not count them out of a points finish, maybe even a podium if all chaos ensues, because that is right there. They are right on the pace, and I'm expecting some chaos, which is about to start in 20 seconds time. I'm really excited for this, Xerox. I'm really looking forward to it. 36 laps of completely flat out action and some really good scraps on circuit.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that the weather situation doesn't change. It said it was going to be clear, so I wish, like, if it was a perfect world, they would change the weather to what it would be. But according to our regulations, we have to have it randomized, so we don't know until we get to the grid to see if there will actually be rain this time.
I think I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's going to be clear for the whole race. I'll be surprised if it wasn't. So good luck from JP to everybody. Got a comment there from Patrol saying 0.7. It's quite a lot on short circuits like Austria or Brazil. Yeah, it is in terms of, you know, looking at that, it is a short circuit, so 7 tenths isn't much, but over a race distance and a few issues, maybe a VSC. Yeah, we do.
The finale?
It is the finale, so I think 7 tenths anybody can get a good result here. You know, if it's over a second, you'd definitely say, yeah, that's a problem. But I think 7 tenths is quite close.
We got some clear weather, so cars in the grid, clear weather. You can see them there on the right side behind the scaffolding. Just wish they had a different camera angle for this.
It always has astonished me why F123 does have this camera. I know they like to focus on the pit lane, but that also means we've got to look at the spectators at the top who are,
Yes, the
what's the
NPC
word I would
spectators.
describe? Rigid?
At least have loading screens like the manager games. Like you have some pretty good shots on that game that you could actually use for this, especially with the photo mode in this game.
Yeah,
Have
they're
some
also
custom
good.
photos. Like have like a poll or whatever on their official page. It's like, hey, submit photos of tracks that we can use for loading screens.
Or like a community photo or something like that
Yeah.
each time. Yeah, that'd be a pretty good idea, actually. But the drivers on the grid, they won't be bothered about the loading screen. They'll be
No, they're
going for,
waiting.
yeah.
They're staring at their dash and their steering wheel. Um, Part of me still feels like Joe should be locked into a first-person VR headset cockpit view.
Patrol
But
saying he's
yeah, so
hoping to race next
coming
week.
back, coming back to JP9, Angriest Man on Earth has returned with the back of the grid start,
Yeah.
and we'll most likely see the Tire Whisperer at it again.
Well,
Trying to,
let's hope we can. Let's hope we can have some good racing tonight. It is one of those circuits where small mistakes will be punished. It's an old school circuit, is the Red Bull Ring. Used to be the A1 ring and previously used to be
yeah,
the Österreich ring as well. A very different track, the Österreich ring, really lovely and flowing. If you've never watched it, ladies and gentlemen who are watching tonight, go and have a look at some footage of the old track. It's absolutely outstanding. But this has been a wonderful modern replacement in the whole facility. Just in the backdrop, you can see the sort of trees of the Spielberg Mountains as well. So a beautiful venue that can cause a lot of dramatic changes in traction because of the
yeah,
camber, the rise in elevation around this circuit can cause the car to become unsettled. Particularly at turn 7, there's a little bump midway through the corner. Midway through the corner, and as you go to brake, if you turn on it, it can unsettle the back end of the car. From
is that
what
on the track or is it on
yeah,
curb?
yeah, on the track, yeah. It's just a point where if you brake and turn at the wrong point, it can unsettle the car. But we have the formation lap at last underway
Yeah,
here in Spielberg.
looking at the driver's room, we have some reminders of some early radio-ups. Joe saying not to forget your setup, make sure you're using the same setup as qualifying, and then Ricky Maru almost forgot their setup, so that would have been tragic.
Would have been a nightmare for them. We've got in the top 10 8 medium starters, 2 hard runners of LDR Gamer and last week's winner Kerr. Outside the top 10, you've got Clips and Ronin on the soft compound tyres, looking to make some gaps and gains up in the first few laps. And then Keza and Ruddo also starting on the hard compound tyres. So most of the grid opting for a shorter first stint and then a longer
Yeah.
second stint.
Yeah, so the soft tire runners maybe, soft medium, soft hard possibly, but you could be losing a lot of time there on the soft hard. But knowing Ronan and how he drives, he may be able to pull it off if he does decide to do it today, depending on the situation. There
Oh,
are our
Joe
possible race
spun it on the
strategies.
Joe spun it on the formation lap. So I am no
Oh,
longer the only driver in IRL this season to drop it at one of the corners. Joe could anyone who
were,
starts with the letter J, you are in peril on the formation lap. Evidently,
were you
he
the one that
is.
spun it yesterday?
Yeah, no, this was at the first round of the season.
Oh, okay.
But Joe, fortunately, he should be able to retake. He should be able to
Yeah.
overtake everybody anyway and get his grid position back. That shouldn't be a problem. But the first drivers are lining up on the grid. They're just getting into their slots. Let's see if Toast can nail his. Just
Yeah.
watching him.
I don't. I don't know how often this.
Nice.
I don't know if even happened in IRL, but yesterday during the safety car, someone spun out, and I was given like on the top of the screen it said race admin allowing you to pass the driver in front of you. I don't know if
It's not allowed. I've seen that before, but
that's
it's not allowed now.
that's what I thought
Yeah.
because seeing that like Lucas, not Joe. Sorry.
Okay, here we go then. Everyone just getting themselves set on the track. We've got the 5 red lights. We can't use the external camera.
Too far away for
And
that.
the race is live here from Austria. It's a good start from the front row for Toast, and he's going to be comfortable into turn 1. A little bit further back, there's a few battles going on. There's almost a free wide back there into turn 1. All looks clean and tidy so far, which is what we want to see. But Toast, there's one Alfa Romeo at the front of the field and another one right at the back.
Haas trying to cover off of the Alpine. Well,
Oh, Lucas has gone
Mr. Steen.
right off the road. Lucas all by
Joe
himself.
Is off.
What happened there? Did you see it, Xerox?
I did not. I saw him dropping down the grid. I could not keep up. Maybe a spin. I don't see any damage from any other drivers as of right now.
Kent's also down there as well, so something's happened. The 2 McLarens have been caught up in some form of shenanigans, but unfortunately for Joe, he's about 2 seconds back, so he's got to really make hay while the sun shines and get back into that DRS range, otherwise he's going to be gapped.
And that's already a 7/10 gap.
Kent's in the
and
gravel
that's another
trap.
Spin from. Is that a spin or?
Yeah, Kent's in the gravel trap. I just caught the end of it, but what a nightmare for McLaren. A dreadful first lap. Oh, that was one of, I want to say it was the Williams of Edmund getting it all wrong on the exit of turn 10, and that's Ivan going past LDR and Edmund
bit of contact on LDR.
They're all trying to fight back. Here comes Clips Kiri with the soft tyres. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, all giving it guns blazing. Edmund trying to hold the inside line, and he gets one spot back at least.
A little bit of contact from Ricky Maru, JP9 on the outside. That's the AlphaTauri of Ronin. I don't know. They were ghosted there for a second. I don't know. Is that from the contact?
Not sure. It looked a bit odd, didn't it? But Ronin.
A little bit of spin from Ronin. The back end's coming out maybe a little bit too.
Rear brake bias. Yeah, he's pushed it too far back. There's your race strategies available to everybody. Medium, hard, medium, or soft, double medium. Joe's out. I don't know if he's disconnected, but he's not in the session anymore. Yeah, that's a shame. And Toast is almost a second clear. And that is critical.
Edmund Cerny, LDR Gamer, going through 6 and 7. And the back end of Clips Kiri already coming out. People, I don't know if they're adjusting for weather or long term, but I'm seeing a lot of people, their back ends are coming out.
Yeah, they're really pushing it on these opening laps. There's a move up front. Ivan and Kerr swapping places. Cope gets back into DRS range, so he's done all right there. Ricky Maru also overtaking the Red Bull. That's Lucas making a move up into third place. So this is a good start for Aston Martin. Second and third on the field as we go through halfway through lap 3, but they'll be delighted with that start.
Running good as well. P7, P8. I don't know where the let me take a look here. Position changes.
Yeah, they both made big gains.
Ads up 4 for Ads, up 1 for Jiri Clement, up 6 for Ivan.
Yeah. So good start for the Alpines. They've made some gains. Bad start for the McLarens. Joe has rejoined, so he'll get control of his car, but already those two are nearly 6.5 seconds off the back of the field. A nightmare for them. Ivan is Lucas is kind of running on his own. He's not got DRS. Ricky Maru's passed LDR Gamer for 12th position, and Clips Kiri goes through.
Losing positions due to pace, I believe. I did see a little bit of back end from Ricky Maru, but this is definitely inside there, trying to avoid his teammate of Ronin. JP9 still trying to close in.
Yeah.
16 from his previous position. And yeah, so the AlphaTauri drivers back end a little bit on Ronin.
I think it's his rear brake bias. I'm convinced. It was a trait that I saw last season when me and Ronan raced in Tier 4. He likes to have his car a little bit wiggly at the back end under brake. Oh, and that's a Williams. Yeah.
I noticed coming into turn 7. I don't know if his back end came out when he started turning, but he actually did move towards the inside of the corner. I don't know if there's a lot of oversteer going on throughout the grid today.
That's the bump I was talking about that's caught him out there in the corner. So unfortunately, Edmund has gone round. Back at the front, the top 5 have made a breakaway from Mr. Steen, and they're all together sharing one bit of tarmac at the moment.
Yeah. Definitely playing into their tire life here. I didn't really see any position changes from the top 10 or so. But
Coke for the lead.
Alpha...
But Toast is going to go all the way around the outside of him. Nice traction for the Alfa Romeo, and Toast retakes that position. But these guys need to work together because Jiri's up to 6th, and they don't want him joining the party because he'll take Steen and his teammate Lucas with him, and that'll make a big group for the race lead.
That 2-second gap, Jiri has to really push into the tire life to try to catch up to them. Bontobi up in P5 still running pretty good here.
That's a really good effort from Bontobi so far. Really nice to see him up at the front. I think Coke's going to shape up for another move. Big slide out of turn 1 from Toast. Got some butter on those tyres.
Here comes... yeah, he's going to... turn 3. Moving on the inside. Both Aston Martins on the inside trying to push off Toast. Lucas not quite there. He's stuck between the 2 drivers. He's going to come up side by side. No. He's going to try to come up side by side. 3 wide, baby, into the grass. Very aggressive defending from Toast. He's back in P3 now. I believe, I don't know if someone went off the gravel. Alex,
whoa!
Maybe?
Toast's back in P1! I can't, but what have we just witnessed? We've watched Lucas try and make an overtake on the grass with 3 wheels off the circuit. He got into P1. He then lost it because he was on the outside line. Coke went back through the middle, thought he got P1, and Toast said, "Thank you very much, I'll take it all back." Wow!
Toast being very aggressive there during turn 4. Very strong move, pushing Lucas back into P3 now. Coke on the inside, on board with Lucas, giving away the position. He'll have another chance to turn 3. A lot of curb there from Lucas. Alex trying to close in now, 3 tenths back. Bontobi, Mr. Steen's 106 or 1.6 now, slowly closing the gap. Coke's going to hold off on trying to make a move here. Toast on the outside, defending well.
Yeah, Toast actually
LDR
got
Gamer
back. Yeah,
taking position on Ronan.
Toast actually got back past Coke then. Coke got him into turn 1, and then Toast used the DRS. I think this is a good... Oh, Alex has locked the rear brake. He's tapped the wall. He's going to drop away from the group. He'll get back on the track. But that was a...
has disconnected here. I'll get him an invite.
No. Get him an invite.
I don't see any damage on the Williams.
No, he got away with it. It was a very light brush, but that's the back end on the braking for the drivers. They want to get that car rotated in the slower corners, but too much rear brake bias and a little bit of overcorrection mid-corner can really cause the cars to go round. Keza overtakes the ailing JP9. He's trying to get back into the lobby, which he has just done. And this time Coke decides to stay behind the Alfa Romeo. Clips it into turn 1. It's a nice bit of exit from the Aston Martin. And can Coke make a move this time? He decides not to.
Lucas Baja really trying to be careful about not coming in contact with Coke. Communicating very well between the two.
Alex and Mr. Steen have made contact. They've both lost positions into turn 3.
Ferrari of Ivan.
Yeah.
And Jiri Clement up in a P5.
Those guys have made up some places. Ivan's up 9 places from 15th. He's having a stormer. Just going to cut away from the rest of the field because, you know, Ricky Marrow still in the top 10, Kerr 11th, LDR Gamer 12th, and I think those soft tyres of Clips, Kiri and Ronan are just coming away from them now. Doesn't look like they're putting as much pressure on as they did before, so is it a 2-stop for those guys?
It may be, because they're still trying to close the gap on those hard tire runners, but they lost a little bit of time coming through Sector 2. Joe with the track limits warning is actually on board with Cud, trying to catch up to Ricky Maru. A little bit of a gap there. Ronan, the first one on the soft tires into the pits. Clips Kiri going to be running an extra lap, maybe 10 laps. As Ivan and Jiri are back and forth for position. 2.6 gap now. It was like a whole 1 second a few laps ago.
And Ivan and
Edmund
Jiri.
Cerny also into the pits.
Yeah, Ronan onto the hard tyres, so he thinks he can run the hard tyres, what, for 27 laps, the tyre whisperer? Let's see how he gets on. But Bon Toby's doing a... I don't want to curse him, but he's up there and he's running with the front three, and I'm not going to say any more than that because I don't want to curse him. But these guys, as Xerox rightly pointed out, 2.2 clear of the Scarlet Ferrari of Ivan and Jiri and Mr. Steen and co. I'm not going through all of them. There's all the way down to 13th. They're separated by a second, less than a second. So two big groups out on track having a big fight for positions currently. It's really good to see.
Yeah. Bon Toby falling off a little bit, not too much farther back. But if you guys have noticed, throughout these last few laps, Bon Toby has been sitting in P4. Toast, Coke, and Lucas have been fighting for positions. So Bon Toby just sitting back, letting them fight, using the tire wear on their tires. We may see Bon Toby go into the pits after those three drivers.
Coke making that move. He's trying to go through. Here comes Lucas. He goes past one. His teammate squeezes him off the road. They just about get through there altogether, but Toast goes from P1 to P3. I'm amazed that the two Aston Martin didn't have a quite an accident there. How they got away with that, I don't know.
Very well. I believe this is the second race for Coke, third race?
I believe so.
Something like that. And very strong communication between the two. Very strong performance. Alex dropping back. I don't know. He's in the gravel pit after turn 7, turn 8. I don't know what happened.
Wonder if he's just had a
damage
little...
on him.
Yeah, I wonder if he's just had a little slip out of turns 6 and 7. Clips Kiri.
JP9 trying to make a move on Keza back in P15. Little snap of the back end from Keza there. Clips Kiri, the other soft tire runner, into the pits on a mediums now.
Okay, so he's going for a two-stop. Toast trying to go, and Toast gets it wrong and hits the side of Lucas, and Lucas is on the grass, and that is going to be a slam dunk on Toast, unfortunately for the stewards. They won't take that lightly. But Coke then moves into the lead. Toast just got it a little bit wrong. That's unfortunate.
Lucas is falling off, a little bit of contact with the Alpines. And I don't know if there's any... This camera view is just ridiculous. I can't see if there's any damage on him.
No,
He's
you
all
can't
the way
see a
back
thing.
into P8.
One thing to note, though, look at that gap between Bon Toby and Ivan. This is a super group. If Ivan can get into that DRS zone, and he's so close,
Top
he
11.
is. It'll be the top
Track
11.
for Alex there in the Williams.
Wow. So
4
the
track limits now. So
the field is coming back together.
yeah, and a lot earlier track limit warnings than I expected. And running 11, 12 laps now on these medium tires and those hard tires. Cut LDR, Keza Ruddo. Those
Toast.
4 hard tire runners, they may be
Yeah.
trying for an overcut. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll see how that works out. But Bon Toby up into second place. What a drive this is from the Haas man. One of the comments coming in saying penalty where. For you, Matthias, who's just made that comment, there's 4 drivers, as Xerox pointed out, for track limit penalties. But I also think Toast's attempted overtake on Lucas, which turned him round, that'll end up being a penalty. It was unnecessary contact.
Oh, cut into the gravel. Losing pace here. Losing a position out on LDR Gamer. Just taking a little bit wide.
That's dropped LDR Gamer away from the pack as well, so that becomes a... In fact, even Mr. Steen has fallen away, and here comes Ivan Belov somehow ghosting through Toast for P3.
I didn't see the perspective from you, but I did see that he lost the position. I don't know what happened there, but according to regulation, that's not a legal overtake. You have to treat the ghosted car as it is actually physically there. So we might see something for that, depending on how the end of the race finishes. Lucas Blaha dropping down.
Here comes Bon Toby for the lead. He's on the outside line. They're going to have to go 2 by 2 through turn number 4, but Coke gets the traction, and he's back into P.
Early on the inside and holds it off the Mercedes, the Ferrari of Ivan, and then Toast close behind. As we're starting to get into pit stop territory.
Yep.
With these top 6 runners. 2.2 still. Jimmy Clement to toast.
I tell you what, Ivan's got some pace. Oh, and Coke picks up a time penalty. Our race leader. Ivan's got some pace today, considering he started 15th and he's now P3. He's right in the thick of the race in action, and he gapped Jiri Clement all by himself. So Ivan is looking very, very comfortable right now.
JP9 is as well. They're up. They're chipping away at positions. They're up into P13, trying to take P12 from Alex. 3/10 back. Joe with a track limit penalty. About a third of the grid so far. Making a move on the inside, on board with JP9 up into P12. See how they perform through this turn. A little bit of a lockup there from JP9, it looks like. I don't have any audio.
Bontobi.
But, Alex holding on to P12.
Bontobi and Coke side by side as they approach turn 6. We've got a stupid camera angle. Thanks, game, for that one. But Bontobi has got the inside line as they approach turn 7. The Haas is in the lead. He gets that one secured, and he probably will lead a lap of this race. I just want to point out, Ronan did set fastest lap.
Ricky Maru into the gravel.
Whoa.
I don't know if there's contact with Lucas. I saw Lucas was correcting themselves. And track limits are coming through everywhere. Ricky Maru, first one on the medium tires, into the pits. Actually, no, it's Lucas.
Lucas has gone in. So I wonder if Lucas is getting a bit frustrated and trying to undercut everybody, so he's out of the traffic. There's another yellow flag.
Three, that's a spin from Joe. I don't know if they are connected still.
Probably would be. I'd be surprised if the AI lost it. Yes, Coke and Ivan having a big fight over second position. Coke just about hanging on currently. Gentleman Bo
went up to 3.4. I don't know if Jiri is losing pace or not.
Gentleman Bo's just made a comment about seeing where can I see if a penalty has been given. That little black and white flag you can see on the timing tower there, Gentleman Bo, that is where the penalties are. But if you want to know exactly what they are, there they all are. 3 seconds for most of the field for track limit penalty violations. Joe has 6 seconds worth because he's done a couple more. That is how that plays out.
No speeding in the pit lane yet.
Coke in the pits.
All right, going to be playing the short game on Bontobi, but Toast is right there with him.
What I want to know is, where is Lucas Blaha going to come out? Actually, no, forget that. Ronan's in front of Lucas Blaha. Don't forget, Ronan pitted a few laps ago. He's got a 2-second advantage over Lucas, so expect Ronan to be up near the front because of this alternative strategy. They're all coming out the pits. They're getting up to speed. Here comes Coke into turn 1.
Another spin from a McLaren.
It's not going well for him.
Joe. And they're going to be beached. Joe is going to be... That's a reset the track from Joe there.
And that's a DQ. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know what was going on with him. Connection issue, but I'm seeing more penalties. And maybe a safety car with the McLaren pulling off to the road.
Yeah, if that car can't get out... Ronan and Coke so close together here. They're all trying to scramble their way up to the lead, if possible. There's another time penalty that's just gone on for Kerr. Ivan is in the pits.
Hard tires now. So long run to the end of the race. McLaren is out.
Jiri in the pits.
The remaining McLaren there is... see the remainder of our pit stops. Bontobi sitting in the front on those medium tires, still having to pit. Jiri, Clement, JP9, Alex... Still the other drivers on those medium tires, as we see 2 of them swapping over to hards. 3 runners, Bontobi, JP9, and Alex, running long on those mediums. And we have LDR, Keza, and Ruddo on those hard tires. So these guys are going to be coming into the pits maybe this lap, maybe the next lap. I don't know if that'll be too much loss of pace coming in on the end of lap 18, but we'll have to wait and see. 6.5 seconds between LDR and Bontobi. That was our original gap from our top 5, top 6. And another 5 seconds from Alex.
I'm just watching the fight here. As Toast nearly runs into the back of Clips Kiri. Clips Kiri also pitted earlier, but he went for the medium tyres. And he's now involved in the net fight for a victory. But whether he needs to pit again, we shall find out as he goes into the gravel trap. Bontobi in the pits. Now he's 17 seconds clear of Coke. I don't think that's enough to get in and out before the drivers who are fighting for the race lead. I'm just watching. Here he comes out of the pits. The Haas box is a little bit further along. And yeah, I think Bontobi's going to drop
down. A lot
down.
of action going on with the pits. And Alfa Romeo, Toast making a position up on Klipskiri into the runoff. I don't know what that was for. But,
Bontobi's lost a few spots.
Ruddo back in P10 on those old hards.
Oh, and, Ronan got that all wrong. He did well to avoid a massive accident there, but this is what we were saying before. His rear brake bias is dialed way too far backwards. He just lost the back end and managed to skillfully guide it over the grass, but that could have been a massive accident, that.
Yeah, so we may see a long run on the mediums for Klipskiri. Kent on a new set of softs, we may see a 2-stop there. Ruddo all the way back to P12 on those old hards, as we may see the top 3 coming in. No, they're actually still staying out fighting for position. Keza 8.1 seconds back behind the top 2.
Yeah, it's Kerr and LDR Gamer swap places. Yeah, Keza's still... Oh, Ronan's in the wall.
I don't know what happened here.
He's in the wall. That's a safety car.
What happened?
No, I didn't, unfortunately. I just want to see, is he on the exit of turn? Yes, he's on the exit of turn 10. I think, judging by the angle, I think he's dropped it and he's just speared into the wall. Looking at it. And those drivers who are in the lead of the race, Kerr and LDR Gamer, they are going to be having a great time.
They have 11-second gap.
That
and
might...
They have a free pit stop under safety car.
Oh, that's going to... Oh, the gap's coming down a little bit, actually. But I was going to say, if it's 11 seconds... Yeah, if the gap's 11 seconds, that might just be enough to get them a pit stop and out in front. And they'd be on the medium tyres, these two.
They're going to be about midfield, back-end midfield, maybe 12 to 15. We'll have to wait and see. A little bit of feedback from Joe from the situation with his disconnecting issues. He ended up being a lap down, and then he got beached. So... that's where the reset the track. I don't know if reset the track was from the game itself. Hopefully it was, so he doesn't have to deal with the penalty, but the stewards will have to decide that whether or not
everyone's in the pits.
That penalty. Everybody.
Everyone's piling into the pits, apart from Toast and Coke. They are braving it on the medium tyres. I'm just looking.
Long stretch of softs, maybe?
Nah, they'll go medium, surely.
Well, by the time the safety car comes back in, that's going to be about
14 laps?
14 laps.
Yeah, I think that's fine, isn't it? For the mediums?
Nobody going on the softs. Everybody on the mediums. They're going to have way better pace. 4-lap advantage on those hard tire runners. They're staying in the front. But we've seen an exceptional performance today from our top 4. Adds Lucas, the Alpine, actually up in the P3. His teammate back in P12. Very strong
Lucas,
performance.
yeah, he was running around in 12th, but he's one of the 4 drivers who've decided not to pit, which is a huge gamble at this stage of the race. But Kerr and LDR Gamer must be delighted.
Yeah, Ads Lucas sitting up at P3, gaining 9 positions. Keza also is gaining 11 from the start. JP9 is still back there, P15, still looking for some improvement. But yeah, so end of lap 21 when we come back on the track.
I'm just looking at where the McLaren of Kent is, and it's just approaching turn. It's just coming out of turn 3 now. So whether Kent will be able to catch the safety car, that'll be a question. We'll see if he can make it. But that's just looking. I'm just going to skip through to the penalties. And the only drivers in the top 5, the only driver in the top 5 who hasn't got a penalty is Bontobi. LDR Gamer, he doesn't have one either, nor does Clips and Evan. And we were saying before, penalties will make a massive impact around this circuit. If the race were to finish now, everyone in the top 3 would be relegated immediately off the podium pretty much at this point.
Bontobi in the provisional Bontobi leader, LDR Gamer, and then Klipskiri, depending on the time frames. But everybody has 3-second time penalties. And those of you guys who are watching, if you were not a part of Tier 2, I don't know. No, actually, all the drivers can actually see. If you guys are in the Discord, you guys can look at the standings. You guys can look at the steward findings. There is a long list of penalties and penalty removals actually for Tier 2. So that'll play into a factor for regulations next week or the following week when the the grid, the points, the standings are gone over.
And to bear in mind as well, we do, like I said at the top of the show, we are having a break week next week with the Easter holidays and daylight savings. Kent has disconnected just as he made a pit stop. Are you joking? That how much bad form are McLaren going to have tonight? But with that happening, the race after that, round 6, halfway mark of the season, is Monaco. So we go from a very high speed, less than technical circuit to a very low speed, absolutely technical type of circuit, which will have track limits problems because of the chicanes, of course. But more than likely, if you cut over any of the corners at Monaco, you'll be greeted by the wall. So I'm looking forward to commentating on that one.
I'm not looking forward to watching the replay. I unfortunately, if you guys didn't know, I will not be there. I have a fishing trip that week, so I won't be driving or commentating.
Are you fishing in
But
the
I will be.
harbour of Monaco, or?
Yes, just virtually watching the race as I'm sitting in the harbor of Monaco. Yes, that's not. Kent is ranting off in the driver's room, unable to connect properly. I don't know if they're back in yet.
I'm trying
No,
to.
they are not.
I don't know if I have him as a friend on EA because I would invite him. I'm just having a look. Apologies for everybody on the stream that you can
I'll
see
give
all
Kent
of.
an invite, see if he'll rejoin.
Yeah, let's hope we can get him
Well,
back in.
lap 22.
Yeah,
Did I
safety
say
car
lap
will be in.
22?
Kent's in. Kent's in. Great stuff. We got everybody in. Safety car is in this lap, so we'll have 13 laps of racing, and those guys who are on the hard tyres are going to have to make their cars about 54,000 miles wide to stop the medium shod runners blasting on by them. We'll ride on board with Toast because he has the position to see when Coke goes, but just a reminder, Toast can't go alongside Coke because Max Verstappen got warned about that and it's now a regulation, so he
Yeah.
can't.
And Alpine right into the gearbox of the Alfa Romeo. And I'm on board with Bontobi in the Haas, sitting a few cars back to see what happens. Then we're off
He's
to a
gone.
restart
Yeah.
just before the white line to the pit. So we'll see what our gap's going to be like at the end of turn 1.
Do you know what?
A lot of Keza getting a track limit penalty.
Ads Lucas got caught sleeping there. He's almost a second behind. The whole grid kind of got a bit caught out really by that. So nice restart for Coke. He gets himself up the road. Toast has gone with him. Then it's Ad Lucas and Bontobi. Then it's the Red Bull of Kerr. Last week's race winner puts himself in a prime position to get on the podium. We shall see if that plays out. Then it's LDR Gamer, Keza, Lucas, Clips, Kiri, Ivan in 10th place. That is the scenario as it stands, but no moves so far.
Yeah, pretty much sitting in their positions as of right now, waiting for this lap to conclude. That way they can actually start putting the power down. Because they don't want to make any mistakes here, especially on those older hard tires. And I wouldn't be surprised to see if our top 4 runners on the hards try to defend against our medium tire runners, especially when they start losing pace.
One thing I will make a note of, though, is that for Coke and Toast, they clearly showing that they've got some top-line speed here, but they have cleared Ads Lucas. I know his restart didn't help as Kerr runs wide at the exit of turn 10 in the Red Bull, but they've got that little bit of a gap to Bontobi, who will be desperate to get past the Alpine, looking to try and get a first podium with IRL. He's right in the slipstream of the rear diffuser on that Alpine. He's closing all the time, but he's just not close enough for an overtake. And speaking of an overtake, Kerr and LDR Gamer are side by side at turn 3, as are Keza and Lucas, but they all stay in the same places that they were at the start of the lap.
And some strong moves trying to go through turn 3. Bontobi thought about it, if you guys remember. But he's still trying to stay close to Ads Lucas. There's already 1.1 second gap between the top 2 and Ads Lucas. And I'm not getting any response from Ronan for that situation. I haven't heard back from him in the driver's room, but very interesting race. Kind of a reset here. Is what is this? About a 15% lap distance?
Yeah, it's pretty much we're
Cutting-
two-thirds of the
cutting
way
it in
through,
half?
aren't we? So we've got a third of the race to go. I'm on board with Lucas, who's doing his absolute best to get past Keza, who runs deep at turn 10. Not really a move to try and make a move here. He should wait for the DRS. I think Keza's struggling with understeer on the exit of turn 1, and that's going to be Lucas making a move
Trying to make a
through.
move on the Haas, coming up to turn 3. Maybe the Alpine moving over. Almost having
Safety
some contact.
car.
Safety car.
Edmund's in the
from
wall.
Edmund.
And
Is that going to be running
Bontobi.
wide turn 1?
Yeah, no, he's completely ripped the. I think he's just flew off the road. I don't actually know what happened to him, but his car was just facing completely the wrong way with a wheel ripped off. So that's 3 retirements. And Bontobi will be delighted at that point because just as the safety car was about to be deployed, he got past Ads Lucas. So that fight for the front 2 will become a fight for the front 3 because I don't think Lucas Ads Lucas that is, doesn't quite have the pace of those front 2 drivers where I think Bontobi does, as evidenced earlier.
I'm going to see if I can get response from the Williams driver there.
And the hard shod runners are all in the pits. Are they going for softs?
They have the.
There's a few drivers. There's a few. In fact, they're all going in. Pretty much all of them. So Kerr stays out. He's on the medium tyres. Ivan Belov stays out. He's on the mediums, as is Mr. Steen and Ricky Maru. Everyone else on the grid has gone for the soft compound tyres for a 10-lap sprint. I'm going to be honest, it's up in the air, this one. I think that the mediums have not really done much running, so they'll last comfortably to the end. The softs, by the end of the race, are going to be not great.
Yeah, those top runners on the mediums now, that's what, maybe a third of their tire life already gone by the time.
The only thing is they've only done like 3 laps. Oh, that's a shot. Let's see if we get you back in.
I don't know what happened here.
Don't worry, we'll get you back in. But those drivers who were on the mediums at the front, they've only done 3 racing laps properly on those medium compound tyres. The other 3 were done under safety cars, so those mediums are going to be in pretty good nick by the time we get through this race to the end of it. Hopefully for the soft tyres they can do something about it, but I think the mediums versus the softs. Toast also went for the medium tyres, interestingly. I wonder if that was intentional.
Yeah, my disconnect said I had my Ethernet cable unplugged when I was on my second monitor trying to get some input from Edmund from the DNF. I'm trying to rejoin now. And coming off of the replay, since I'm not in quite yet, Kent on the 4 laps softs, he was talking in the driver's room. He's going to be giving up for the rest of the race. And
yeah, he's having technical issues, isn't he?
He's not really feeling confidence for the rest of the season, but we'll have to wait and see. Lucas Blaha, P9 on the soft tires. Coke on the soft tires running P5, so he'll have the most advantage on those front medium tire runners. And hopefully I can get in before the safety car comes back into the pit lane.
We're at turn 3, so we should be okay. Yeah, Ads Lucas, it looked like his car got stuck somewhere from the track indicator. I couldn't jump to it because it retired, or rather it disqualified from the session, so I couldn't actually jump to his car, but not sure what went on then. That's such a shame. He was having a good run, but we'll have to find out whether Ads Lucas had a technical issue. Safety car in this lap, and Xerox for your benefit.
In time.
But the man who won last week is in P1.
That is right. So definitely change of pace here. We'll be looking into when they come in. But we saw the drivers starting before the pit lane line. I'm trying to get my information back up here. He's going to be waiting till after
Yeah,
Maybe
Kerr's...
turn 9, maybe turn 10. Trying to fake him out here. Is turn 9 still running steady? He's going to wait till the last corner, most likely.
I wonder if he's going to go mid-corner. Yeah, there he goes. He
Yep,
knew exactly
mid-corner
what he
on the
was doing.
apex.
Great launch from Kerr. That's exactly what he wanted. Someone's under pressure there. That's Ricky Maru.
Coke already trying to make a move on turn 1 on the outside.
That's
Ribbon tire rubbing off to the curb. Back into P5.
Bit of wheel-to-wheel action there, but they got away with it. But Coke wants to get a move on. Here he comes. He's going to try and go up the inside.
Dive
He's
bomb
going
on the inside, pushing him off. Up into
and Toast
P4.
goes through.
Ricky
Toast.
Maru spinning. Yeah. Coke also back in a P15. I don't know what happened. People were ghosted.
I think Coke understeered into Ricky Maru. Ricky Maru's on the curb as a result, and they've just made contact and round they go. Bontobi is now the lead runner on soft tyres. He doesn't have a penalty, and he's got medium tyre runners in front of him. He will be licking his chops at a potential podium, maybe even a race win, considering the penalty scenario. But he does have LDR Gamer right behind him. It's all to play for.
Yeah, a lot of the drivers that are no longer in this race can't add Zips Joe. They're all fuming, so to speak, in the driver's room because of today's race. Not really feeling any confidence from all of them, as all they can do is just watch. On Toby, still a half second on those soft tires behind Toast.
Here comes
Already a
Lucas.
second gap between the top two.
Nice move from Lucas up into P6. That's what you want to see at Austria. Some nice clean overtakes. You've got battles further back as well. Clips Kiri trying to find a way past Keza. It's going to be brave if he makes this move stick. He's on the inside line. Keza just doesn't have any traction for whatever reason. He's down to ninth. Ruddo, he qualified last, but I said earlier, it'd be after qualifying. Doesn't matter if you qualify 7.5 temps down, you can get into the points. Look who's in 10th place. Ruddo's right there. And there's a yellow flag.
2 and 3.
Coke's off.
The Aston Martin Coke. And they're going to be continuing on. No safety car. They're on the track.
Yeah.
As those top 4 runners still on those mediums. Von Toby still a half second or so, 6/10 behind. As they're starting to pull away. That gap closing now between Mr. Steen and Ivan. Less than a second, 8/10 or so. As we try to see a move. Toast on Mr. Steen. The outside of turn 3. Can he hold that position? And he does.
And Lucas has kind of caught Bontobi napping a little bit there. Bontobi was a bit sort of frightened away from the rear diffuser of the Mercedes and loses a spot. Clips Kiri and LDR Gamer. That's contact between the two at turn number 4. They about survive.
Wide. JP9 taking position on that. I don't know if he had contact with Ruddo. Dropping back to P12 now behind the Alpine of Jerry Clement.
Wow.
LDR Gamer trying to close in on Clips Kiri still. 3/10 now. As Lucas Blaha up into the gearbox of Mr. Steen. Closing that gap now. He's going to have a good run here on the main straight, and then another one up to turn 3. DRS looking for both of them. Coke with a track limits penalty. He's back there in P15 as we see Lucas Blaha backing off for the run up to turn 3.
He's going to try.
Toast is trying to make a move on Ivan. Maybe, no. 2/10 or so. The Red Bull of Cub braking a little bit early. The Ferrari on the inside. Toast trying not to make any contact. Pushing him onto the outside there. Ivan now P1, Toast P2, Cup P3. Mr.
And Lucas P4. Just as you say that.
Yeah. On the outside of Mr. Steen and the Mercedes.
Oh my God, this fight for the lead is unbelievable. Toast has got into the lead of the race. Ivan was P2, and then P1, and then back to P2. Kerr's dropped to 3rd. These top 5 have all got penalties outside of Ivan, who just needs to place his car right in the next 5 laps, and he'll be taking a victory, and he'll be talking to him once again in the post-race. He's having a great season. But Lucas has got some speed. He's really utilising these soft tyres.
A lot of curve there from Lucas Media Warning. As he's on the inside, he has to pace up in a P3.
Yeah. Absolutely flying. Kez is in the pits for some reason. Wonder if he's got a broken front wing.
Speeding in the pit lane there.
No, that hasn't helped him either.
His race is basically over as he retires, leaving 14 drivers left.
Here
12
comes Ivan.
positions to get points.
Ivan tried. A little sniff. Lucas trying to go. Oh,
A little
that's
bit of contact there from the Aston Martin pushing Ivan. I honestly feel that was Ivan pushing him really far out, pushing the elbow out.
I'm going to be honest, it's a bit clumsy. It's a bit clumsy from both of them, in all truth. But let the stewards resolve that one.
Contact was a little bit deserved there for Ferrari, trying to push him out. As Lucas losing positions there, as he slots in behind the Hasselbahn. Toby now up in the P5. Right up in the gearbox of Mr. Steen.
Anybody could get a podium at this point. It's absolutely crazy. But Toast is trying to use those newer medium tyres compared to the drivers. He's almost got a second, but he can't do it. And that's Coke around again.
Through turn 7 or turn 6.
The racing tonight is so frenetic, and there's still 4 laps remaining, and anybody could get a great result here. And Toast, he's so close to breaking that DRS barrier. If he does it, he should be able to pull away from everyone, but he just can't do it. He just keeps getting caught back up.
He's got about 3-4 laps to go to break that DRS and get that 3-second interval. And he'll secure the win for today. But that is prelims for the penalties that we have. We're not going to go over them. We'll just have to go over them next race.
Jerry's gone round.
From Monaco.
Nice move from Ruddo on clips. That was a really lovely move.
Ricky Maro, 3-second penalty for track limits. Von Toby and Mr. Steen side by side coming up in the turn 9.
Don't keep it there, back out. Oh, God. You don't want to go side by side through there, gents. That's an accident waiting to happen. And look at Toast, he's gone, he's up the road. He needs to find another...
1.7 seconds now off the main straight. He has to have a, what?
1.3 extra? Yeah.
Now but about a second or so. He's flying.
He is flying, but Ivan goes past Kerr. And Ivan is the man who can take the race victory away from Toast. But Mr. Steen's also there as well. He's trying to get on the power as best as he can on curb.
Red Bull.
But he can't. He hasn't got the speed.
A little bit more pace off of that turn 3 exit from Kuh. 2.1 now between Ivan and Toast. Ivan has to try and push 2 laps to go. 2.5, 3 laps to go or so, like that. I don't know the exact
yeah, 2 laps.
2.3, and Toast is looking for that interval to keep going up. Ivan's going to try to make that gap go down. It's Lucas Blaha still trying to make a move on Mr. Steen, less than 0.2. Mercedes off wide. Maybe another warning, I don't know. That's a lot of dirty air coming from the Red Bull.
There's a lot going on here, isn't there, with 2 laps to go. And Toast is continuing to stretch his advantage. The man who qualified on pole position by a comfortable margin as well is almost there.
Still going up.
Here comes Mr. Steen on the inside of Kerr. No,
Lucas
he can't
Blaha
quite
make a move on the outside.
Oh, Lucas has got it all wrong, all over the sausage curb, and that's going to ruin it for him. Wow.
Now 2.8, 2.9 now, practically. There's that 3-second gap. Toast still has to hold strong. He has the younger medium tires. So
he does.
Ivan, Cut, and Mr. Steen still trying to hold on. And I don't think Ivan's going to, coming around this next lap or so, the final lap, he's going to push really hard. Those medium tires are probably fuming right now.
There's so little in it. It's 3.07 at one point. It's so tight. We're on the final lap of the race. Kerr is right there. Here comes Bon Toby.
Bon Toby up in a P4 on the inside. That's our provisional podium right now, is Toast, Kerr, and Bon Toby. If Toast can stay outside of 3-second gaps on...
Free wide as they come towards turn 3. Lucas is going to go on the inside. Kerr was trying to make
contact from the Aston Martin. Maybe able to capitalize from that. No, they're still side by side.
They're still fighting.
Penalty.
This is unbelievable. Lucas is back in front.
2.6 now. Toast has to really push and hope that Ivan can't keep that gap closed. It's about a half a second or so. Toast is
Oh
looking to
my
be back into
God!
P2.
3 corners to go then. We're on board with Toast. The gap is 3/10 pretty much on circuit. 2 corners to go. Toast has to commit. He's got to go for it through the final corner. He runs a little bit wide. He'll get a warning for that, but he should be okay. He comes towards the line. He's across the line. Here comes Ivan. This is going to be so tight. It's Ivan who takes the win.
Of a second.
Wow.
0.089, less than a tenth between Toast and Ivan. And that's after penalties, pretty much. But we'll have to wait and see. Provisional podium right now. Ivan, Toast, Bontobi, Cud, just outside of the podium.
And well done to Ruddo for not getting a penalty and keeping his nose clean. Up to 5th. He started 20th, ladies and gentlemen. I said someone could score points from the back of the grid, and this man's done it in the Ferrari. Well done to Ruddo. That's a great result for him.
Very interesting race. Coke fought. I don't know if Coke was still in the lobby. Yes, he is. He's fighting to the end. And just outside of the points for him, so no points for Coke, unfortunately, depending on penalties. But majority of the grid getting points today. Ivan Belov, driver of the day. And we'll hand it off to you for the remainder of the race.
Yeah, for those provisional standings in a moment, we can see that the Ferrari guys celebrating on the podium. Toast is going to be absolutely devastated to miss out on a first race win. Ivan, though, will be absolutely delighted. Those last 2 corners just kept him in it. Look at that gap, 800ths of a second. What a race. Let's look through these provisional standings then. It is Ivan who takes the victory from 15th on the grid. Toast is second with Bontobi third. Kurt in 4th position from 10th. Ruddo up from the back of the grid to 5th position. Great drive. Lucas in 6th place. He won't be happy following on from his incident earlier in the race. LDR Gamer 7th. JP9 up from 19th to 8th. He gets some points. Mr. Steen in 9th position. It's Clips Kiri rounding out the top 10. Alex and Jiri will get points as per the Invictus Racing League point system. So from those finishing from 1st to 12th, they get points. Coke finished, but he was quite a far way down, and he got fastest lap, but he won't get the points, sadly. Ricky Maru retired on the final lap for reasons unknown, and other retirements include Keza, Edmund, Ronan, Joe, Kent, and Ads Lucas. Wow. What a race.
All right, for our top 3, I'm going to get a hold of Toast to see what he says about the race. Says he's on Steam and not PlayStation, but we'll get the other 2 podium finishers in here shortly.
That we will do. Just looking in our party currently, we haven't got our 2. Kent has provided the comments. He said this game is toilet.
Yes. They are all fuming about today's race and ready to move on to F124.
We're just getting some comments from the drivers, and unfortunately I won't be able to do a Discord voice chat, but thanks to Xerox there for providing that comment, so hopefully we'll see him shortly. And we've got Bontobi
in the chat.
Yeah, he's in here with us. I know that in a moment we will have Ivan joining us. Bontobi, though, you had a good race there, didn't you? How was it for you?
All felt great. Just back after a little break from racing, and it felt really good to be back.
How was the race for you? Because you were right involved in the thick of the action, and I wanted to get some view. I wanted to get another driver in because I know that unfortunately, we don't have Toast in the party. He was so close to taking the race win. But what was that like for you? Because you were P1 briefly, you were P4, you were P2, you were all over the place. What was going on?
Well, I decided the first stint I was just hanging along, hoping they make some mistakes and I gain 3 positions, no real rush. And then they pitted earlier than me, and I saw that he got stuck behind a Red Bull. I thought I could overcut this and gain positions. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, so after a pit I was far behind, but then the safety car came out and basically saved my race. And it was real fun. We had some great battles along with a few people, so I'm happy with the result.
Yeah, I was going to ask whether were you happy with your finishing position, but is Austria a track that you're a fan of? Would you say?
Well, it's in the middle, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's good racing, but it gets a bit tedious with its DRS train.
Yeah. Obviously, in 2 weeks' time, next round, we're off to Monaco. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm lucky I'm a reserve driver, that's all I'm saying.
So you don't necessarily have to commit to driving that race. How did your we saw a lot of back ends coming out with their setups. But how did your qualifying feel compared to the race with your setup, and how did the race make you adapt?
I'll ask one last question then, Bontobi. Great result for you today. What's the aim for the rest of the season? I know you're a reserve, but I mean, if you do get the chance to come in and race, I mean, what's the target? Is it podiums, race wins? What are you thinking?
Well, podiums, preferably.
Yeah.
I'd like to win, of course, but you never know what happens in these races, so a podium is a great result for me.
Ah, brilliant. Well done today. Great result on the podium, Bontobi, and we'll hopefully talk to you again at some point this season.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Xerox, we've got a comment from Ivan and Toast. Which one do you want to read? And I'll read the other.
Was Ivan the other podium finisher? Oh yes, he was. He
He
took the win.
won.
But we'll start with Toast, the P2 finisher with the 3 second time penalty. I asked him about qualifying, what opportunities helped him, and then how the race was overall. Toast says quali felt really good, and he's been doing a few races here in Austria to prepare and improve. And then the opportunity that he took, pace in the race was strong. Um, put a lot of trust in the strategy and tire wear. The safety cars were both a help and a hindrance. So the fact that I believe there was two safety cars.
Mm.
So maybe one of them helped, the other one didn't. And then the race overall for him went well, and happy with the race result. The P1 spot was so close, about a tenth of a difference. You guys can go back and check that out on the final lap. And then a special mention to Ivan for gaining 4 tenths in the last lap to close that gap. So very strong win and move from Ivan, especially on those older medium tires.
Yeah, I mean, Ivan's also commented as well. A nice shout out from Toast to talk about Ivan, our race winner, but he's unable to join us for the chat tonight. But he has said, really fun race. Couldn't catch the guys in qualifying, but my setup worked perfect in the race. Also was lucky to stay out of troubles and didn't get any penalties. Clean and nice. Well, Xerox, I'll ask you before we finish up for today. Who was your driver of the day? Who would you give it to?
I was really hoping for JP9 to come up through the grid, but it had to be the front runners. It had to be between Toast, Coke, and who was it up there with him? The other Aston Martin driver of Lucas, I believe it was. It's very strong fight between them throughout the entire race. Very unfortunate for Lucas towards the end there, but I guess it has to go with Coke. Even though he didn't get a podium, he still had a strong fight today, and yeah, that's where my choices are going with what I've seen today, and looking forward to seeing the rest of it throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, let's see how the rest of the season pans out. We are, of course, I've mentioned it twice in the stream, but I mentioned it one last time. Invictus Racing League will have a break week next week. We will be back the week commencing the 8th of April, where the Tier 3 drivers will be starting off the resumption of the league for round 6 at Monaco, or as the great Sterling Moss used to pronounce it, Monaco. But from myself, Jack TM53, it's good night from Xerox. Oh, I'm assuming you want to say good night?
Yeah, good night to you. Good afternoon to other people that are over in the United States like myself. And very interesting to see what this break is going to play into because you're going to have time to practice for Monaco and practice for Netherlands, but I feel like a lot more of that practice is going towards Monaco. But I will be back here in Tier 2 for the Netherlands. I will not be able to race or commentate for Monaco, so I will see you guys later next month.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to having Xerox back with us. But wherever you might be in the big wide world, before you go away, make sure you subscribe, you like, and you follow Invictus Racing League on our social media platforms. But as I always say, wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good